And all right, we're live. What's going on, guys? We're here with the hub. We had so much fun last Friday. We were like, why don't we just do it again this Friday?
Maybe we'll do it again next
Hub
Friday.
had the big upset pick with the Browns. So, Hub, do you want to just talk about your thought process there? Genius behind that?
For sure, with the Browns, and I think we both had the upset pick with the Rams if Goff played right, and even then, that didn't go the way we expected it. We were both expecting if there's a healthy Jared Goff that looks good and is throwing the football like a healthy Jared Goff should, then the Rams win. But that was not a healthy Jared Goff, and they still won. But for the Browns Steelers, my thought process behind that was just that I didn't like the way the Steelers look after the Washington game. It's kind of funny, because this once again goes into the Rams game. The way the Seahawks looked after they played us and after they had like that first, I guess you could say, big loss of the season to a team that they shouldn't have lost to.
Yeah.
Something wasn't right. And it was the same thing with the Steelers. After they lost to the Washington football team, something was not right. They went on to lose 4 of their last 5 games. And that's not no matter how good you were before that, in the last stretch of the season going into the playoffs, you never want to be a team that loses 4 of their last 5 games. That's terrible. You're going in with terrible momentum. You're going in with terrible, just bad games behind you. It's a bad recipe. It's a recipe for disaster. And I also knew my thought process behind that was with the wide receivers, not in their whole TikTok things and whatnot, which definitely played a role in that game. But my thought process was the Steelers had a lot of drop passes this year. And if Big Ben and his wide receivers can't connect, that offense is going to fail and the team is going to fail because the defense can't carry them against, a team like the Browns that can run up the score on them. And that's exactly what happened. The Browns ran up the score on them. The Steelers could not respond, in part because their offense could not click. Did you know, and I actually did a video on this because I made a video about Allen Robinson and had it out today, the Giants were 7th in the league in drop passes. The Steelers, I think, were 4th or something like that. Those were the only 2 teams in the top 10 teams that had drop passes that were not a top 10 passing offense. That's a problem. The Giants were 29th in the league in passing offense, so they shouldn't be up all the way there for drop passes. It's a direct correlation. The more you pass, the more drop passes there's going to be. We all know the Giants' problems. The Steelers were the same thing. They were the 15th overall passing offense in the league, and here they were ranked at number 4 for drop passes in the entire league. So that's kind of my thought process going in there.
Yeah, I mean, that game, I think no one expected that game to go the way it did, though.
Mm-hmm. The Super Bowl 48.
Literally from the start. Boom. Yeah, literally. And then just no chance basically for the Steelers.
As soon as they went down 14-0, when they were down 7 off of that, just right out of Super Bowl 48 play, straight up. Only difference is Peyton Manning recovered it was a safety. This time the defense recovered it was a touchdown. As soon as Ben threw that pick and the Browns got the ball back, it was almost like it was game over because down 14-0, only 5 minutes into the game, that's hard to come back from.
Yeah, I mean, Big Ben had, as Valerie is saying, Valerie is a Steelers fan in the chat. She said Ben threw 4 interceptions. And that's the thing we always talk about, and everyone always talks about, the turnover battle. It's hard to win a game when you throw 4 interceptions. And obviously this game was a blowout. Mm-hmm. Even after the first quarter, basically after the first quarter, it's okay, this game is over. But some of those interceptions early on were bad. Just the Steelers couldn't hold on to the ball early on, and it just made it super hard for them.
Who was the pick 6 to? That was in his first 2 or first 3 interceptions. I forgot who the pick 6 was to. And when the pick 6 happened, I think they either went down. That's when they went down 21-0 or when they went down 28-0. And by that point, it's just there's no way they're coming back from this.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy for Browns fans though. I'm just gonna go through the chat right here. See who we got in here. We got Nate. Nate talks Giants. We got Hoodie Russ. What's going on? Athletics. Ian. Bobby's here. Hub, say hi to Bobby.
Hello, Bobby.
TN Autographs. What's going on, guys? Tyler Harrison. The Hub. Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, because someone was pretending to be me in another stream.
Yeah, I remember that. That was back before we ever did a collab. And I was trying to get Lauren on, and we were like, wait a minute, is this the real Lauren? Because there was another Lauren running around.
Because what's it called? I didn't know if that was you, saying give me a wrench, because the other person actually got modded. That's what's
The other
weird about
one.
like the fake Shootout Sports got modded, and everyone thought I was the fake one, and I was like, no, it's really me. And
There's
then I'm
no
like,
way to
wait,
prove it.
I'm behind the screen. There's no way. I'm like, wait, I'm gonna put a post on my community page. Watch this.
Yeah.
And then I did. So yeah, that's the story of me. Someone stealing my YouTube identity, I guess.
Identity is gone.
Yeah. And then, Buffalo versus the Colts. That was another good game. Like
That was
all the games
probably.
this weekend were pretty good.
I think Buffalo Colts was probably the sleeper game of the weekend. I did not expect it to be that good. Certainly, I mean,
I gotta say I did though. I thought
You
the
did?
Colts were a pretty good team, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what, I didn't expect them to have a chance at the end of the game to actually go down and win, and then they kind of just blew that. Like, they had good time at the end of the game to get down there and score and win the game. It just did not happen.
Yeah, I mean, I thought for a second, I was like, oh no, is like Buffalo going to choke this game away? Like, is this going to be the thing? Like, is Buffalo going to lose these big playoff games and just blow leads? And that Josh Allen fumble, like, if you're a Buffalo fan, I don't know what your heart must have been doing during that fumble. Like, it just kept rolling back.
It was just like a replay of last year. Remember last year when they were, was it last year?
For
Were they in the
Buffalo?
playoffs last year, I think?
Buffalo?
Yeah. Weren't they
Yeah,
a
they
wild
had
card
that
last year
loss
as
to
well?
the Texans.
Yeah, and it was off of a Josh Allen fumble.
Yeah.
So I was like, that was just a flashback for Bills fans just into the previous year, man.
So, I mean, they overcame it. So that's what I feel like now for the Bills, like they just had to get that first win because it's been so long. And I feel like mentally, maybe they were thinking a little about last year. I don't know. But like now that you got that win, you're like, all right, cool. Like we did it. We can win the playoffs still. What was it? The first time since 1995?
Something crazy like that.
Before we were born, literally.
Yeah.
Like something crazy.
And Bobby tells me the guy that got the pick six in the Browns game was Taki. Thank you,
and
Bobby.
he got a pick, I think, in the Eagles game too, right?
Yeah, he did. Ooh.
Green with the super chat. Should Mike Tomlin be fired and should Big Ben and or Phillip Rivers retire? I don't think Mike Tomlin should be fired. Like think about the way that team started. I think Big Ben, I mean, I know he has a lot of money like in contracts next year, or his contract like has a really big dollar sign or whatever next year from Pittsburgh. So I don't know if Ben will retire, but I mean, the performance was not good.
Oh, by the way, you can pull up super chats on the screen if you just click on them too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Hub.
Yeah, no problem. So for me, this might be kind of another hot take. Then again, my last hot take did come through with Browns Steelers. But, and I guess you could call me harsh for this. I say yes to all three parts of the question. I think, yes, Tomlin should be fired. I think, yes, Big Ben should retire. I think, actually, you know what? Maybe on Phillip Rivers retiring. He played better than I expected in the wild card game. But I still think both of them are towards the end of their career. Definitely Ben. I mean, Ben has looked bad the entire year, not just during that game. The entire year, Ben has struggled. And for Tomlin, my reasoning for Tomlin is that he's been probably one of the greatest regular season head coaches in the past like 20 years, but he's only been in Pittsburgh for what I want to say 15, maybe over 15, a little over 15. But he always does terribly in the postseason. You think about this for a second. Pittsburgh has consistently been one of the best teams in the NFL. They always make it into the playoffs, and they should always be a Super Bowl contender, but they never are. They never go deep into the postseason. And, I mean, when you have consistently good teams, what does it come down to? It has to come down to coaching. That's my reasoning. And this is just the latest episode in Mike Tomlin not being good in the playoffs in a long list of examples, in my opinion. I
feel like maybe what they do is, maybe we move on.
And once again, he's a great regular season head coach. But at what point do you say, all right, we keep having these great regular seasons but terrible postseasons?
I think first you got to move on from Ben Roethlisberger. I think that's what you got to do first. I mean, it's just like this team was very good early on, obviously. And then people started to say, oh, they're not actually a really good undefeated team. I just don't think you move on from Mike Tomlin yet, in my personal opinion. Yeah, STN Autograph says, I'm going to put this up here, Steelers give him another year. I think so too. I don't think you can move on yet. And just their offense had some issues and all that. But yeah, exactly. As Cosmo said, they got rid of their offensive coordinator. Literally, he typed that as I said. Had to sneeze. But literally, as I said that, he typed, they got rid of their offensive coordinator. So I think you do that first, and then you see what happens. The next game, what was the next game that day?
Well, we didn't really even talk about Rams Seahawks if you want to get into that.
Yeah, let's talk about Rams Seahawks, because that was the next game, right?
Rams.
That was a pretty interesting game.
Yeah. I did not expect that.
That was a fun game, I think. Like Cam Akers, oh my gosh.
Cam Akers looked like a monster. They could not stop
Talk about
him.
A guy just like literally putting the offense on his back at first.
And it was like what? He went off and what? Like I want to say in the second half of the game was really when he took over. It was kind of like stalemate-ish for the first half. I actually called that game with Kid Blue live, and we were bored out of our minds because that, in my opinion, I don't know if anybody else felt this, but watching that game, you could go back and see my live reaction. It was the most boring 30-point game I've ever been involved in, where like a team puts up 30 and the other one puts up 20. By the time that the end rolled around, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. When did all these points get on the board?
Yeah.
Nothing was happening. Like
early on, no scoring.
Yeah,
I think the pick six was like actually the first touchdown, right? Was the pick six the first touchdown?
Was it?
And then DK Metcalf had the touchdown after that, right?
Yeah, I think that might have been it.
That was like the spark.
Because no offense could click. And then for one thing, it made sense that the Rams offense couldn't click. First, they had their backup QB out there. And then they had their starting QB who was out in the first place because his throwing hand, it was the thumb on his throwing hand was injured.
His hand. Did you see his hand on the bench?
I did not.
He was sitting there like with his thumbs. Oh my gosh. Like whatever. With his hands, his thumbs up, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess just seeing them. And the one that was broken or was fixed with surgery, like was very swollen. And
yeah,
I was like
props.
He literally just got surgery on it. That's crazy.
Props to him because players would not play that game. Come on, you're a quarterback. That's your throwing hand. Your thumb is gone. And to be fair, he looked terrible for like 90% of the time he was in there.
Yeah.
But as the game went on, I want to say like the last 6 or 7 minutes of the entire game, he started clicking. The throws started coming out better. The spiralers were cleaner, and they were getting more and more accurate. But the one person, like you mentioned, that carried that Rams offense was Cam Akers. And big shout out to one of my favorite players in the entire NFL, to Aaron Donald, who I think is the best player in the NFL. And people are trying to underrate him, saying that he's not the defensive player of the year this year. Nah, he definitely is, because that defense, they did a great job with Seattle. And he went out early, too.
Yeah,
so they did a great job without Aaron Donald. Yeah. So can you imagine what they would have done if he was in there?
I know. Honestly, I feel like with Aaron Donald and like the defensive player of the year stuff, I feel like it's one of those things where he's just been so dominant for so long. It's like people almost, I don't want to say like forget, but it's just like, he's just like, I feel like the favorite to get it every single year.
That doesn't mean he shouldn't get it.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. I feel like that just happens sometimes with awards. It's always just like, sometimes it's like, oh, this guy, like, it's just like normal now. But I think he should definitely be defensive player of the year. He's been dominant for what, like 3-4 years?
Yeah.
He was that 2014 draft.
And hello to Harrison. He says hi to Hub. And Nate, shout out to Nate. He was going to say what I was going to bring up. He's like, at this point, Donald is like Mike Trout in the MLB. He's always the best in the league. They just can't give it to him every year. And I never understood that.
That's a great example.
You could also pull up like LeBron from the NBA. Like there's many years where he deserved he deserved the MVP and they just don't give it to him because it's like it's what people expect. But I'm like, the players earned it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, Hub, 100%. Yeah, I mean, that's disappointing for Seattle, though. If you're Seattle, they were really hyped up coming into this year in the beginning of the year. Like,
what do you think? We were just talking Mike Tomlin. What do you think about Pete Carroll? I mean, maybe Pete Carroll, I could say the same thing that I said for Tomlin about Carroll. Nice regular season, somehow, some way, can't get it done in the postseason. But this is a bit more understandable. That Seahawks defense was suspect all year. The team was kind of on and off with their offense. What are you thinking? I
don't think they move on yet. Like, I understand what you're saying about both these guys, but I think both these guys will still be the head coach next year. But it's definitely, you got to say, like, this is a disappointing season for the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, early on, I think there was a lot of hype early on for them. And then
they definitely need to do something with that defense in this offseason, draft and free agency.
Yeah. The defense needs help.
100%.
100%. I mean, just like in coverage too, like I know Jamal Adams was injured during that game, but like he
Jamal
can't cover.
Adams, I
He can't
think
play coverage.
he's become a meme on NFL Twitter with coverage. Like he's been
Yeah,
really bad with coverage. Like
he
and people have
can't.
straight up been clowning him on Twitter.
Yeah, he can't cover. Like they gotta put in a lot of work on that defense and figure out something. The front office has to put in the work on that defense.
Do you
And
think they move
then,
on from Chris Carson? Because I think he's a free agent this year.
oh really? I mean, they have Carlos Hyde. Who's the other running back that they just drafted recently?
Recently? It's either this year or next year, but he's going to be a free agent soon, and he's a great, like, he's an integral part of that offense.
Yeah, because they like the whole let Russ cook thing. Like they have been running the ball. That's what they've been doing.
Somebody says Wilson cooked himself.
They did not let Russ cook this year. And honestly, like, what do you think about that? Like, I feel like at times I feel like I know like the run game works for them, and I feel like that's what they do. Like they run the ball and then they pass it. But I feel like if you let Russell Wilson do his thing, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, like if you let those guys do their thing, I don't know. Like how often should you actually be running it on first and second down? I don't know if this is necessarily a good argument, but sometimes I think like let this guy get in a groove, like going into the playoffs and stuff. Like that's what I was thinking, I guess, when they were playing Washington, I believe it was. It's like they barely threw the ball, and it's like I know momentum is a thing in sports, and I don't know how much it affects a quarterback, but I feel like just let him play. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. I agree with you to a certain extent, but I don't think it applies to this game because they only ran the ball like 16 times and Russ threw the ball 27. That's a pretty good balance.
But I'm talking about like leading up to the playoffs.
Yeah, like leading up to the playoffs, I guess. But like once again, like this particular game, there was like a lot of stuff. Like I think that Seahawks team probably just wasn't ready to be in the playoffs with how bad their defense was. And
the
even though
line could be better too.
The offensive line's been a problem for Seattle for how many years now?
Yeah,
ever since they traded away Max Unger, I think it's basically been a problem. Like way back when.
Yeah, the offense, it's defense and offensive line there. And the thing is, like, I feel like you don't realize it as much because I like that touchdown to throw to DK Metcalf. It looked like Russ was going to be sacked the whole time, and he can just get out of the pocket really easily. But I mean, Seattle, that's got to be tough to be a Seattle fan. I'll say that because they were hyped up, and now it's like, oh, we got a lot of work to do if we want to actually be a competitor. Marley says Russ doesn't run the offense. That's the problem. Too much scramble drill and not enough. Wait, the comment just moved. But yeah, like I feel like you gotta let Russ do his thing a little bit more. That's all I'll say about that. What was the game that night? The game that night was
I think it was Washington Buccaneers.
Okay, yeah, that was a competitive game as well. Like all these games are pretty competitive.
Well, Green with another one.
All right, so let's go to the Super Chat. What do you two think about the Bears keeping Nagy, Pace, and Phillips? Personally, I think it's Virginia, that's the owner, right? Way of telling fans we don't care and neither should you.
Wait, can you bring it up on the screen?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So, I mean, you could go first. It sounded like you were going to say something.
I mean, when was Nagy brought in? How many years ago was that now?
I think it was either 17 or 18. I want to say 18.
Like 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're in 2021 now. But basically like 2 to 3 years ago. I don't know. I mean, the team was a playoff team this year. The quarterback situation, like, it's a difficult situation. You had Nick Foles playing part of the year. You had Mitchell Trubisky playing part of the year. This team did have a hot start to the season. They made the playoffs. I don't think it's like a way of saying to the fans that they don't care. I don't think they move on yet. Listen, I'm a Giants fan, obviously, and since I've been in college, I'm a senior in college now. They've had 3 different head coaches if you don't count the interim head coaches. They didn't make the playoffs. They only made the playoffs with Ben McAdoo the year before he was fired. I don't think you move on that quickly yet. It's just in my opinion. They did make the playoffs with a not so great quarterback situation, probably the worst quarterback situation of a team in the playoffs besides Washington.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'll say this, though. Nagy is definitely on the hot seat because it's weird. He came in, he was a pretty good play caller, a pretty good offensive play caller, and it just seemed like as the years went on, it got a little bit weirder and weirder, especially this year from what I've heard from Bears fans, not just with the offensive play calling, it's been questionable. Just decision making has been questionable. You talk about decisions that a head coach has to make with challenges, timeouts, and whatnot. They've been saying it's questionable. So I'll tell you what, he's on the hot seat, and I think they're giving him one more year. I also do think you got to take into account the man's quarterbacks were Nick Foles and Mr. Trubisky. The Bears, exactly. I think, are definitely in the market for a quarterback this year. That defense is still
Deshaun
legit.
Watson, we can talk about that after we talk about.
I was going to say Dak Prescott would be a perfect match for the Bears.
See what happens back in Dallas.
Yeah. They the Bears still have a really good defense. Their offense is okay. I mean, their running game, it's average, a little bit above average. They're going to need to improve that receiving core because Allen Robinson is most definitely going to leave. I don't think he's happy with the organization at all. But you got a good quarterback in there, and they're going to make something happen.
I mean, that defense played pretty good the first half versus the Saints this past weekend. Mm-hmm. So LA Lou with the super chat. LA Lou, big Rams fan. So LA Lou says, hey, Lauren, hey, Hub, don't sleep on the Rams. If they can beat Brady and Wilson twice, they can beat Rodgers. So, yeah, I was talking about this, I guess, in the comment section of one of my videos maybe. But that Rams defense, I don't think Aaron Rodgers has played a defense as good as that Rams defense this year. So I don't think this is going to be an easy game for Green Bay at all. This is going to be a very interesting game.
It's not going to be an easy game at all. And LA Lou, if you were in the last stream last Friday, you already know I'm not sleeping on the Rams. I'm actually riding with the Rams. I told Lauren last week,
the Giants do not sleep on the Rams.
Yeah, like when the Giants are in the playoffs, I kind of just choose a team to ride with. This is the third time in 4 years that for some reason I'm really rocking heavy with the Rams. I don't know why. I think maybe because, once again, Donald is one of my favorite players in the NFL. I think maybe that's part of the reason. I think because I think people underrate Jared Goff, so I look at him a little bit as an underdog. So I root for them that way. But
you gotta have respect for him. For what he did after what he did this past weekend.
Exactly. But I'm always rocking with the Rams. It's not gonna be an easy game against Green Bay. I still got Green Bay winning, but I won't lie to you if I say I low-key kind of want the Rams to win again. I feel like if the Rams could make a magical run, they would have a good – it would be so nice to see them get a Super Bowl. I don't know why. I just want the Rams to get a Super Bowl. Maybe I'm like a low-key a Rams fan in the postseason or something.
I mean – I did have the Rams as my sleeper Super Bowl pick, but I also did pick the Packers to go to the Super Bowl, and I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan, and I feel like if Rodgers doesn't win this year, I don't know if he'll win a Super Bowl ever again.
I still do have Packers over Rams, even though I really want the Rams.
Me too. Oh, look at Hub with his prediction there. Hub, you must have had a good pick.
I got one matchup wrong last week out of all my matchups, and it was Titans-Bills. I really thought the Titans Titans-Ravens. I really thought the Titans were going to beat the Ravens, but the Ravens came out on top. Other than that, I was spot on. I got Browns, Steelers, got Colts, Bills, Rams, Seahawks, Bears, Saints, Bucks, Washington. That was the only game I got wrong last week.
See, this is why you should tune into the show. Hub and I each only got one wrong. So I'm not saying we're good at this. Maybe we're just lucky, but
maybe we're just lucky.
This is interesting. Fanatic Production says Packers over Rams in the snow at Green Bay. Is it supposed to snow?
Is it going to snow? Because if it's going to snow, it's a defensive game.
So much fun.
If it's going to snow, it's a defensive game, Lauren.
I love snow games. This is and Aaron Rodgers, the Sunday Night Football game in the snow, he balled out. The snow was no problem for him. So let's just talk about that game really fast too. We're going through in order, so it would be Ravens. Yeah, it would be Ravens, Titans. So Lamar gets his playoff win. Narrative goes away.
What I find funny is that narrative goes away and people find a new narrative. And now it's Lamar has to take his game to the AFC Championship game. I'm I feel like you guys just don't want Lamar to succeed.
I know people were saying after the interception, oh, look, he can't throw the ball. Yes, it was a bad interception. But listen, what did he do? He basically put the offense on his back. With that rushing touchdown after, oh my gosh. That's when you realize how much of a game changer Lamar Jackson is. I don't care what anyone says, Lamar Jackson is a game changer. Anytime he's on the field, we saw when the Giants played the Ravens, you have to play in zone. You can't risk playing man to man very often because Lamar is just going to run by you. If you have like a linebacker on Lamar Jackson, good luck. Like, So, I mean, the Titans, they're eliminated. Derrick Henry, I believe he had under 50 rushing yards, right?
Derrick Henry did not look like King Henry, man. I was so hyped on the Titans going there. They just disappointed me.
They needed him. They basically, like last year, they needed him to have a big playoff run. And he didn't. And then, I mean, Ryan Tannehill didn't play terrible. He threw that late interception, which basically lost them the game.
But like, we all know what Tannehill is. He's not going to win you a game.
Yeah, if Derrick Henry isn't having a game, it's going to be tough for Ryan Tannehill just to do it with his arm. But yeah, Titans fall short, and it's really just crazy to see how much like Derrick Henry is the heart and soul of that
41 yards is what they said. 41 yards is what the comments are saying.
It's crazy. But shout out to the Ravens for being able to stop him though. Like shout out to the Ravens defense. Let's go to the next game. What's the next game?
Let me just pull back out my paper here. Let's see. So we went over Titans, Ravens,
Bears. Nickelodeon game. The Nickelodeon game.
Oh yeah, that's the only one we have left. No, we went over the Bears game already. We talked about how their defense was good when the.
We were talking about the Bears, but like the coaching. We can just go over this one quickly. Mitchell Trubisky. Wait, did you watch the game on Nickelodeon?
I didn't even really watch the game like that. I think I caught like a quarter on Nickelodeon and then like a quarter on CBS, and I was. So
listen to this. Oh wait, we'll do the super chat first, and then I have a funny story about the Nickelodeon game, and you'll know if you watched it on Nickelodeon. Green says, "I got one last question. What do you think about GMs and team presidents such as Roseman, Gettleman, Pace, and Easterby having more job security?" I think the thing.
Does he mean more job security yet? As in they just got one more year? Because that's not job security. It just means they got one more year, or like job security as in they're not going to get fired anytime soon.
Well, I feel like we can talk on Gettleman because that's like the things we're most familiar with, being Giants fans and being in New York. I think the thing is, with the Giants specifically, they showed improvement. So once you finally show signs of improvement, even if it's not ideal, and even if they obviously should have drafted a wide receiver in a great wide receiver draft class last year, you don't just move on. Last year's free agent, or this past year's, free agent class was great for the Giants. Gettleman did a great job there. I think once you show signs of improvement, you don't want to be like, okay, but all these other things were bad, so bye.
I think people also forget this was the second year of the rebuild. It's Gettleman's third year here, but it was the second year of rebuilding.
And like I said in my video, when Gettleman came in, like he had a lot of work to do. Like he really had to rebuild this team. Like in every sense of the word, he really had to rebuild this team. And I think next year is going to be a pivotal year for him, a big year for him. I feel like it's almost playoff or bust next year for the Giants.
That's what it is for me. I know Mara said that it wasn't, but for me, and I think for every Giants fan, it should be that. Yeah. Like I've been pretty objective when it comes to the Giants' progression. Some people have called me a Gettleman apologist, but I look at it as I'm being objective. Like I recognize what dude had to do when he came in here. And I recognize the fact that in his second year of rebuilding and the first time he ever had legit money to deal with in free agency, he did a grade A+ job and had a great job in draft. Like, come on, we're talking about 6 and 7 round picks that were doing the job for us. And exactly. People love to give credit to Joe Judge, and Judge deserves some credit. But two things: one, who hired Judge? Gettleman hired Judge. And two, do you really think a first-year unproven head coach had as much say in his first draft ever as some Giants fans are making it out to be? They're making it out to be like Judge was already an established dude that came in here and he had like 50% say in the draft. No, it was Gettleman. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have more say now, but it's still gonna be Gettleman having like majority if you really want to break it down like that. But I mean, for me though, it is playoff or bust this year. I think this is the most important offseason the Giants have had in a long, long time. If they can nail the draft, they can nail the free agency. It's playoff or bust.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Playoff or bust. But going back to the Nickelodeon game. So the Nickelodeon game was cool. And they have this thing the NIP, the Nickelodeon important player, like the MVP. Oh no, the MVP, the Nickelodeon
MVP,
valuable player. And guess who got voted the Nickelodeon valuable
Mitch
player?
Trubisky.
How funny is that?
I don't know how it was a completely fan voted thing. I think, and
I think it was Big Cat from Barstool. Like,
yeah, I think people just trolled it and they voted Mitch. I think people just trolled it.
How funny is that?
It's hilarious.
It's like, oh my gosh, that was funny. I thought the Nickelodeon broadcast was cool though. And the last game, we talked about this a little bit. Browns, Steelers. Yeah, we basically talked about this game already.
Yeah, we covered that that was the first one.
And yeah, we were just surprised and we're happy for Cleveland fans. Do you want to talk about Deshaun Watson real quick?
Sure.
Because he tweeted out the thing today.
He was at 2 and now he's at 10.
Yeah, so do you think he's going to ask for a trade?
He's already asked for a trade. Hasn't that been the rumors for the past week?
But do you think he will? Sorry, do you think he will be traded?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, Houston has obviously not done him any favors, by what
crazy, like how they've
made
go compared to now. No first round pick this year either. Oh,
but at the same time, I'm like, Deshaun, like you still had a couple of weapons, like you know what I mean. Like Houston has done a terrible job at building a team, but it's not like they left you with nothing. But I mean, things could be terrible in Houston that we don't know about. So. Honestly, the way I look at it and the way Houston front office has been, they probably keep him just to make him suffer or something because that's just the way they've been operating. But he should get traded.
I honestly think like Houston doesn't want to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
But will he like hold out or something or not show up? Like
no. I don't think he's that type of guy.
It's just he's in a tough situation. If he did get traded, I could honestly see the Jets possibly trading for him because they have the most draft capital, I guess. Like think about the picks they have.
I think I would disagree. I think the team that could probably trade for him would be Miami because he wants to go to Miami, and Miami also has a good amount of draft capital. As much as I think Miami should just stick with Tua, and I tweeted out today, I'm like, I find it hilarious that for 2 straight years. Dolphins fans were in the tank mode to get Tua.
I saw this tweet.
Yeah, and they were like, as soon as we get Tua, everything's going to be okay. And then after his rookie year, they're like, oh, man, let's get to Deshaun Watson. It's like, what?
That's a trade that I could see happening. You're right. Tua goes to Houston along with one of Miami's first-round picks.
Nah, they're going to take both. They would take both of Miami's first-round
picks and Tua.
I think Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Well, they do one first round, like 3rd overall and a 2nd rounder and Tua, but that makes sense. I could see them.
But yeah, you got to think about who Deshaun Watson is. He's like one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now. Probably not even in his prime yet.
Yeah, exactly.
His extension hasn't even kicked in yet, so he's still technically on his rookie deal.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the fan in me wants to see Deshaun Watson get traded, so we could see him play on a good team. But it's just crazy because Houston was that playoff team 2 years ago that was up huge on the Chiefs in the playoffs last year. Like, just whoa, just what a fall! Like, what a fall.
Bill O'Brien.
Yeah. All right. So, want to talk about this week?
Sure, let's make our picks.
So, let me pull up the first game here. I just want to make sure I have the games in order. So, the first game, look at that. The first game is Packers versus Rams. You want to go first, Hub?
That's the Saturday.
We're both the Rams fans, but we've both chosen the Packers.
Yeah. That's the Saturday afternoon game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I low-key kind of previewed it already. I want the Rams to win because it would be very interesting and to see that defense really just go all out. But as you brought up, Aaron Rodgers in a snow game already balled out. I mean, and is it
going to snow there? Let me look at the Green Bay weather.
For sure, check. He looks like Aaron Rodgers of 2016 right now.
It's supposed to snow. It's showers though.
Showers, okay.
Oh, and it's not gonna really be snowing in the afternoon. It's only 18% chance.
Mm-hmm.
Darn it. Blizzard game.
Blizzard game. I don't think it's gonna be a blizzard game. It's probably gonna be a couple of showers.
Yeah, I wish there was a blizzard game.
But Rodgers this year has been on a mission, I think, to prove everybody like myself who last year doubted him, because, I mean, he did not look like himself last year. He looked like a game manager last year in that Packers offense. And just to prove everybody like wrong that's been saying, he's not what he once was. And he's looked like Rodgers of 2016, 2015 once again this year. He's looked legitimately incredible. And I think that's going to be a big motivator for him. But I do got the Packers coming out on top here. It really does depend a lot on how Goff is going to be with his thumb. Like, if he's still going to be hampered, and this is not Seattle's defense that struggled all year. This is a pretty good Green Bay defense that will take advantage of it.
And you also got to think, just like, I don't know if this affects Jared Goff. I don't know. But the cold weather, like, I feel like that can't be great for the thumb. Just like, I feel like people always complain after they broke a bone or something. Well, not complain, but they always say, like, cold weather, like, will make it act up a little more. Like, even if you broke a bone a couple years ago, and it's cold, it might make that bone a little sore or whatever. But like you said, I think Aaron Rodgers is on a mission this year. He will probably win MVP. I think he should win MVP, in my opinion. And I just think this is his year. Like, it's now or never for Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Like, that duo is crazy. I mean, Jalen Ramsey should probably be following Adams around the field wherever he goes tomorrow. So that should be a great matchup. But Devontae Adams has been having a great year as well. So I'll go with the Packers. Also, the Packers running back depth is like crazy. Like, they have Aaron Jones, then they have that rookie AJ Dillon, who's like the third string running back, and then they have Jamal Williams. Like, their running back depth is crazy. So that's my pick for that game. Next game, we got. This should be a good one too. Ravens versus Bills.
That's the night game, right?
Yeah, it's tomorrow night. It's crazy. Now we only have 4 games left.
Yeah. Which, by the way, for anybody in the chat, I will be streaming that game live reaction, and play-by-play with Kid Lou. I'm not sure if it's going to be on mine or his channel yet. We're doing the 2 night games, so the Saturday night game and the Sunday night game. Ravens-Bills is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, guys, go subscribe to Hub. Subscribe to Hub. I don't know how about that.
But I'm going to have to
go with the Bills.
I don't know about you, Lauren. I'm going to have to go with the Bills on this one. The Bills been on a roll. They've been on a roll. I mean, I feel like it's kind of been predetermined that they might make it all the way to the AFC Championship. But the Bills, you got like one of the best offenses in the league with a pretty good defense there. And that defense has been good for years now. Going up the Ravens, who in my opinion have had like an average defense and an average offense. They have the best running offense in the league, but they have legitimately, by whatever stat you look at, the worst passing offense in the league. So I'd take the team that's just better overall. And I really do think it might turn into a game of just high scoring. And the Bills are one of the best at doing that right now with Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills. I feel like we're both sticking to our original bracket. I'm going with the Bills. I mean, they were hot going into the playoffs. I just think that first win was the biggest thing for them, getting that first playoff win. Now I think they're just rolling, in my opinion. Now I think it's going to be easy for them. It's going to be tough versus Lamar Jackson. I think this should be a really good game. But like the Bills defense versus Phillip Rivers, like, I don't know. Like, they didn't look outstanding. So we'll see what happens. The Colts made some bad decisions in that game, like just, going for it on 4th and goal from the 4. But yeah, it should be a close game, and I think the Bills offense is going to have to score a lot of points, in my opinion. Hoodie Russ says if it's a high scoring game, the Ravens will lose.
Yeah, if it gets to like above 28 points, I'm like, it's Bills all the way. And shout out to Calvin. He says, which team has a crack at an upset this weekend? Well, I think I already kind of said the Rams. If they could just shut down that Green Bay offense, they have a nice crack at an upset. But other than that,
who's the favorite in the Buccaneers Saints game?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, who's the favorite in that? Because let's just go to that preview. right over there. I actually have the Bucks winning that game. I don't know if that would be counted as an upset.
I have them winning that game too, but I don't know if
Yeah.
that's an upset.
I'm not sure if that's going to be an upset, but if it is, let me know. But yeah, I got the Bucks winning that game for a couple of reasons. One, it's really hard to beat one team 3 times in 1 year, Lauren. 3 times, and it's really hard to do that. I don't think it's going to happen. But 2, the Saints have been inconsistent, as inconsistent as you can.
We were talking about this last week. The Saints, not
too inconsistent for me to be comfortable with them. And then Drew Brees, you throw him into that inconsistent category as well. He's looked downright terrible at some points in the year. The Bucks have just looked better over the course of the NFL season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Buccaneers have had some bad games too, but it's Tom Brady, and Tom Brady was looking like Tom Brady last game. I mean, that touchdown, that pass to Mike Evans, late in the game. I mean, he just dropped it in there like a dime, just like young Tom Brady. Like, I am not even old Tom Brady. So I think Tom Brady's ready to go. And honestly, the Saints didn't even look that good against the Bears early on. I know, in the second half.
When I tuned into that game, I think it was like 7-3 or something. I was like, whoa, I was expecting a bit more.
Yeah, like it was. The Saints weren't looking super impressive early on. I wasn't personally impressed. Later on in the game, yeah, they started scoring points and stuff. But I can't go with the Saints.
But also, Lauren,
the Saints lose too much in the playoffs, like when they should win.
But also, Lauren, like we talked about it at the very beginning of this stream here, where where I brought up the Steelers, the way they ended their season going into playoffs was very terrible. 4 of their last 5 were losses. The way the Buccaneers ended their season going into the playoffs were pretty good. I mean, you talk about a close game with the Chiefs, 27-24, and then they go on a 4-game win streak against the Vikings, Falcons, Lions, and Falcons again. Now, these aren't the greatest teams, but you're building momentum. You're building momentum there. It's just kind of like with Pittsburgh. The teams they lost to, they should not have lost to. Like didn't they lose to the Eagles in that stretch towards the end of the season?
Jalen Hurts debut, and I think one of those games, I believe, it was versus the Lions. Like, Tom Brady didn't even need to play the second half.
Mm-hmm.
He threw 5 touchdown passes or something in the first half, something crazy like that. So, yeah, I gotta go with the Bucks there. And then the other game we got
the final
Browns versus Chiefs. So, this game, I gotta go with the Chiefs. But I don't know. The Browns, don't count the Browns out now. Now they're in it. Now they won. Don't count them out. But
I'm gonna get a little backlash here. I'm 100% counting the Browns out. I ain't see any type of way that they could even sniff a win here, man. I'm going with the Chiefs all the way, bro. I don't know. It's not even a matchup to me. I'm happy for the Browns. I did pick them last week to beat the Steelers. I'm happy that they got their win. This is just a case of one team being better than the other, and this is going to 100% come down to who has the better quarterback, in my opinion. That's what it's going to come down to, and it's not even a matchup if it comes down to that. So yeah, I got the Chiefs. I really don't see a way that the Browns could come out with a win here. If I'm proven wrong, not only will I come on here and say I was proven wrong, but that would be probably one of the best playoff games that I could see if the Chiefs lose to the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like momentum is always a big thing in sports, and now the Browns are all hyped up. They felt like they were disrespected by the Steelers. Then they win in crazy fashion. But listen, the Chiefs really lost 1 game this year. They lost 2, but one of them their starters, or a lot of their starters.
They went 14-1 when they played their starters.
Yeah, so this Chiefs team almost looks better than last year,
which is crazy.
So I just can't see the Chiefs losing. I can't. Yeah, maybe Patrick Mahomes will throw some interceptions, but it seems like even when he does have those games where he does throw interceptions like he did versus Miami, it's just they're like, oh, okay. The Chiefs are always just like, oh, okay, we're down. Oh, it's the 4th quarter now. Oh, okay, don't worry.
Let's just turn it up
100% now. We'll go. Yeah. Don't worry. We were just trying to make it a little difficult because it's very easy for us because we're the Chiefs.
It's crazy. You said they look even better than they did last year. I agree. I mean, there's a reason that a lot of people say the Chiefs are in the position, right, the best position of any team in the past however many years to make a repeat championship. I think the last team to have a repeat was probably the Pats back in the early 2000s. Like, that's how long it's been. There's a reason people say the Chiefs are going to go back-to-back. It's just how good they've looked all year.
You know what's funny? Like, I feel like everyone – well, I don't know if it's everyone. I don't know if it's because we're in the New York area. So, like, you know, the New York, New England, Boston rivalry. But, you know, I feel like a lot of people didn't like the Patriots dynasty. But, you know, the Chiefs, I feel like everyone likes the Chiefs. Like, how can you not like Patrick Mahomes? I don't know. Maybe if they win a few Super Bowls, people are going to –
I wouldn't say everybody I'd say everybody tolerates them. But, like, there was a big reason that people didn't like the New England dynasty. It wasn't just because, like, oh man, they're winning games, I want to see somebody else win. It's because their entire like, they were known as the evil empire for a reason. Their entire dynasty was built off of a bunch of asterisks, you know, from like the Tuck rule to Deflategate to everything. Like, it was always something weird going on.
Yeah. I was gonna say that I think there's other things besides just like the winning. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I feel like Patrick Mahomes, a lot of people like him. Maybe that's just me because, like, I really like Patrick Mahomes, and maybe I'm just using my opinion more than I should.
Mhm.
But let's just do you want to just like open it up to the chat?
Karaoke?
Yes, you say right now.
All right, so let's go with Fanatic Productions here. Lauren in the Hub, what's your opinion on the State Farm Bowl? Rodgers versus Mahomes, Patrick's price versus Rodgers rate. Yeah, this is what I think the Super Bowl will be. This was my Super Bowl prediction, and I'm really hoping it will come true.
I think the Super Bowl is going to be the State Farm Bowl as well. But we have an insurance bowl right now. I mean, coming up this week between the Browns and Chiefs. It's going to be Progressive versus State Farm, and then we might get the State Farm Bowl as the Super Bowl.
Have you ever noticed? I don't know if like this is a thing. Like, I feel like insurance commercials are always the most entertaining.
Yeah, because they got to get your attention. I mean, they're selling probably the most boring thing in the world.
It's not like a physical like product, I guess.
Yeah.
Guys, we're at 50 viewers. So if you want to drop a like, we're at 43 likes. If we can get to 50 likes, that'd be awesome. Make sure you go subscribe to Hub's channel. First link in the description. We did this last week. We're doing it again this week. So we'll maybe do it again next week too.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, make sure you go subscribe to Hub.
Championship games. That would be very interesting.
It's crazy though, because you realize like this weekend is the weekend you realize like, oh, the season's like coming to an end pretty soon. We got 4 games this weekend, 2 games next weekend, right?
And then Pro Bowl and then the Super Bowl.
We really don't have that many games left.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy. I mean, it's been a crazy year, no doubt. You've probably heard that 100 times, but it's crazy to think there's not going to be football. Like, I just hate thinking about like how many months we're going to go without a football game.
It makes me miss the XFL more.
I know.
Makes me like,
it's like a fun thing to have.
Like, I was a fan of the XFL. I was a New York Guardians fan, man. I was like, it was a pretty good product, and then COVID killed it, and there was a chance of a return this year, and then COVID killed it again. I think the XFL is done, which is sad because it was really good.
The Rock bought them though, right?
The Rock bought it, yeah. The Rock bought it, which is not a surprise because Rock, former WWE superstar.
Yeah.
The XFL used to be owned by WWE.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens with the XFL, but it just makes me sad knowing there won't be football. I mean, there's the draft and stuff, but like the feeling of watching a football game, like I'm sure if you're a fan of a team like me and Hub are, I mean, I'm sure there's not many people that are just a fan of the league, but if you're a fan of the team, like that feeling of watching a football game is just like unlike watching any other sport, I feel like pressure-wise, because it's once a week. Like you got your chance once a week. 16 games. Like every game is so important. Like I get so stressed out watching the games. It's probably not healthy, but just that there's no feeling like watching your team. Like there's no feeling like that.
And thank you, Fanatics. They said the XFL won't come back until 2022, so it's not going to be until a year from now.
That's actually not terrible. 1 year. That's not terrible. I mean, if you think about it, they gotta
for them though.
Oh, well, 2 years for the XFL, 1 year for us from now. Yeah. Which isn't because you got to like do all the. I guess they're gonna rebrand it a little, maybe. I don't know, business.
I don't think they should because they came back. This time around was already a rebranding. It was a pretty good job. I think everything was fine. I think they should just bring it back, and the hardest thing is going to be finding players for it. That's going to be the hardest thing because people are there that want to see it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, people love football. I mean, I feel like ratings wise, I saw something like from this past year, like the top, viewed things, like so many of them were football games on TV. So, yeah, anyone in the chat, questions or anything?
Yeah, someone asked, what do you think about the Robert Saleh signing for the Jets?
Yeah, I think it's good. It reminds me a little bit of the Joe Judge signing. Just a guy who's like an energy guy who is like someone I think who was brought in to, change the Jets culture. I think it's going to be he brought in LaFleur, right, to be the offensive coordinator. I think it's going to be someone like Joe Judge, where his coordinators are really going to do all that play calling. He's not going to obviously do any play calling, and I think he's just really someone who was brought in to instill a winning culture in the Jets. What do you think of?
I agree with you. I don't know if it's going to work out, but I think it's already a better move than the one with Adam Gase. Like, even when Adam Gase was signed, people knew something was wrong with Gase at that time too. Like Robert Saleh, he was somebody that I wanted to be the Giants head coach last year because nobody knew about Judge, but he's been a great defensive coordinator for the Niners. Gonna have to see how it works out with the head coaching job, but I think he's moving in the right direction by, like you already mentioned, picking up guys that he already knows to form his coaching staff, like Mike LaFleur from the Niners, brother of Matt LaFleur.
Right now, I think
he was San Fran's passing game coordinator. Yeah, he's the brother of Packers head coach Matt LaFleur. No, is it Packers head coach? Packers head coach, right? Yeah.
Thank you. We have 50 likes. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. So Tian Autograph says, do you think the Jets keep Sam or draft a QB? I don't know. This is honestly a really tough question.
That's you can't answer that right now, straight up. I don't think we're gonna. I don't think we're gonna know that until draft night. I'm gonna keep it real.
I don't even know, because they could trade. They could, like I said, I could possibly see them trading for Deshaun Watson. I don't know. They can make a trade. They could trade down in the draft. They could not draft a quarterback at 2, but then draft one later. Like, I don't know. What I think they should do, I don't know, because a couple of weeks ago I was saying, I think they should draft Justin Fields, but I don't know. Maybe they can even move down in the draft and possibly draft Justin Fields. I don't know.
I don't think Fields is. Who would they move down? Wait, I don't think Fields is making it past top 5.
You don't think? It depends. Zach Wilson. Do you think? Honestly, I think Zach Wilson and Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence could all go top 5.
Top 5? No, top 10. Yes, I don't think 3 quarterbacks are going in the top 5 though. Unless the Falcons really, really want a quarterback, and then they take Zach Wilson at number 4.
Yeah, you're right. Because then another team, then a team like the 49ers would have to trade.
Speaking of which, the Falcons then hired Arthur Smith as their new head coach, former Titans offensive coordinator.
I'm surprised Bieniemy hasn't gotten hired yet.
LA Lou just said the Chargers should hire him. The Chargers should definitely hire him. They just moved on.
Oh my gosh, that'd be the perfect match. Think about Herbert,
Herbert. Oh man,
how Herbert plays and how Mahomes plays. Like 2 quarterbacks with insane arm strength, 2 quarterbacks who are athletic. Like, look at how Eric Bieniemy worked with Patrick Mahomes, and look at that offense there. And
they need to get Bieniemy. As much as I joke,
the perfect match.
As much as I joke, Chargers, please take Jason Garrett away from us. Their actual good match would be Eric Bieniemy.
They need to hire Bieniemy. They really do. That's a perfect match. That would be. I mean, honestly, I think the Chargers can make the playoffs next year. I really do. They had a lot of players hurt this year. I really do think they could make the playoffs.
All depends on who their head coach is going to be for me.
Really?
And somebody just said Green. Yeah, he makes a good point. Eric can't be hired yet because the Chiefs aren't done in the playoffs yet. So he's probably not going to be available until February.
That is true. Who makes the AFC finals? We both have the Bills and the Chiefs going to the AFC finals. I don't think you'll like that by your profile picture. Should the Colts draft a QB?
If they don't re-sign Phillip Rivers, then yeah. But actually, no, because they're not in a position. There's a okay quarterback market right now. They might get a QB in free agency.
I feel like maybe they re-sign Rivers for one more year and draft a quarterback, maybe like Mac Jones or someone to sit behind him and see what happens.
Here's the thing, yo. The Colts are going to be picking what in the 20s? Does Mac Jones make it all the way there when we look at it?
Or who do you think goes first, Kyle Trask or Mac Jones? I haven't done too much draft stuff yet, but
I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't even looked at Kyle Trask. I completely forgot he's technically QB number 4 in this draft, and that Jones is technically QB number 5. I think that Trask might go first because that's what all the mocks are saying. Like that's what all the quote unquote experts are saying. I like what I see out of Mac Jones. It's not like he's a terrible quarterback, and I think he'd be a pretty good fit for a team that's like in a position to win, and they're like a QB away.
Like, look at him throwing to Alabama.
Exactly. So like he would be actually a good fit for the Colts in that sense. Maybe if he does make it all the way down there, he could probably even go to the Steelers or something as well. Who knows?
Pamela says Trey Lance will fall to the Colts. Watch. I don't know. Because isn't Trey Lance technically QB4? Like, we all basically forgot. Maybe
he's technically QB4.
But he only had one game this season. So I feel like he's the guy with probably the highest ceiling in this draft. I think that's what people are saying. But he's someone
Trevor still takes that. Trevor has the highest floor and the highest ceiling in this draft for me.
Well, yeah, you're right. Like, okay, I should have phrased. Like, I'm probably excluding Trevor. I feel like when we talk about the quarterbacks in this draft, we're just like, okay, Trevor won. Like, there's no discussion there. But out of the other guys, I think Trey Lance has like the highest ceiling. But he also, he's someone who's probably going to have to sit for a year or two. We got a super chat from LA Lou. Thank you, LA Lou. The Chargers should hire Courtney Messingham away from Kansas State to be the offensive coordinator. He was Wentz's offensive coordinator at North Dakota State. That's interesting.
I can't even speak at that because I don't know how North Dakota State offense was at the college level back in 2015, 2016. So I can't speak on that. I'm guessing it was good then.
Where do I think Devonta Smith will go? Personally, I feel like the Dolphins could draft him. What do you think? I feel like he could go that high. I don't know.
Here's the thing. The Dolphins really should take Penny Sewell and shore up that offensive line and, protect their quarterback. I think that's what they should do at 3 overall. And Sewell is like a top 5 projected pick, so it would make sense. But even for a receiver, I don't know. In my opinion, the Dolphins, they need a slot receiver. So they need Jalen Waddle. They have 2 outside threats. They need a big playmaker on the inside in the slot. Like, they have Devontae Parker. You know what I'm saying? They have their other outside threat whose name is slipping my mind, and it's not supporting my case right now because the name's slipping my mind. But they have 2 good outside receivers. They need
Devontae Parker and who else do they have? Gesicki and
they have Mike Gesicki too, a pretty good receiving tight end. Like they need a slot receiver, and that's Jalen Waddle.
But I don't think they'll take Waddle with that number 3. To be honest,
what they should do, because they have 2 first-round picks, they should go Sewell at 3, and I think their next pick is 18. They should go in my opinion, maybe Rashad Bateman or Kadarian Toney.
He's from Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Bateman? Yeah.
Or Toney out of Florida. And those guys, they are outside threats as well, but they could play on the inside. You know what I'm saying?
Edward says, unpopular opinion, Trevor Lawrence will flop in his first NFL.
Well, that's his first season. Anything could happen in the first season.
I mean, listen, though, the Jaguars have a lot of cap. Like, the Jaguars could be really good really soon. Maybe not next year, but the year after that, 2022.
The Jaguars are a Madden rebuild right now. That's where they are.
Yeah, they just hired Urban Meyer. What's going on, King Higgins? Pamela says, I think Waddle will go after Devonta Smith. I mean, they had Waddle ranked above Devonta Smith. I think Smith is going. Honestly, this is another thing. I don't know if Smith or Chase is going number 1 for wide receivers because, the combine still hasn't happened.
It's too early to tell still.
Like, it is early. I think it's a toss-up right now, but
honestly, who should go first, in my opinion, is Chase.
That's what I was going to say. If I was drafting, I think I would draft Chase first. As hard as that is, after watching what Devonta Smith did this year, I feel like you can't have recency bias.
Yeah, no, Jamar Chase, people really forget how good this dude is. Jamar Chase is as close to a perfect draft prospect as you get, especially when it comes to the wide receiver position. This dude is unbelievable. People really need to go back and watch his tape. If you don't got the time, just go back, watch his highlights. Like, Chase is that dude.
Yeah.
And it's going to be sad because I want him on the Giants so bad, but I don't see any way that he makes it to the Giants. Like, he's probably going top 10.
The Giants would need to trade up for sure.
It would kill me. It would absolutely kill me if he goes to the Eagles. I would just die if he goes to the Eagles. Damn. But speaking of which, the Eagles shouldn't take wide receivers as much as they need it. They need to take a linebacker. The Eagles linebacking core has been trash for a good amount of years now. So they need to take a guy out of Penn State whose name is slipping my mind right now. Parsons. Yeah, they need to take him at 6.
But people were like, not people, Eagles fans were like, yeah, we needed the draft pick. That's why we lost. But I'm like, well, like, the Eagles haven't been very good at drafting. Like, you passed on Justin Jefferson, you passed on DK Metcalf to draft other wide receivers. Like, you got to also, like, make the pick correctly, too. Obviously, that's easier to do at 6, I believe, but still, you got to make the right pick. This is what I wanted to talk about really quick because we were just talking about Urban Meyer. I don't understand why people are saying, could Justin Fields possibly go number 1 overall now? Because Urban Meyer wasn't even there when Justin Fields was there.
Urban Meyer was not
I was so confused at first. I thought I was missing something. I was like, what? And then
here's the thing though, the Justin Fields number 1 talk has been happening since his Clemson game against Trevor Lawrence. I think now it's kind of a coincidence that it's still going on and that now Urban Meyer, a former Ohio State head coach, not the one that was there with Fields, is there, but the Justin Fields kind of overblown hype has been happening for a couple weeks now since, Ohio State beat Clemson. People need to realize that Clemson team is not what it was, what it once was. Clemson, Trevor Lawrence was really carrying that team low-key, and that's why they lost the way they did. But the Fields talk at number 1 has been going on for a while. I don't think it's necessarily, matched up with Meyer being the head coach now.
Oh, this is interesting. Joel says, is Dwayne Haskins going to the Jags?
Joel, stop it. Joel's a great member on my YouTube channel and subscriber.
But as
Dwayne Haskins ain't getting no job, bro.
You don't think as a backup? I mean, that's something with an Urban Meyer connection. Like, that's like a Urban Meyer connection thing. Like, he's someone who had an Urban Meyer connection.
Hasn't Urban Meyer been gone since 2018?
But didn't he recruit him then?
Did he? I guess you could say he did recruit him. I don't know. I honestly don't know if Dwayne Haskins gets a job even as a backup. Like, teams really value their work ethic in players, even for their backups.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like he's got to just mature. I feel like that's weird coming from me, like someone who's younger than him. Like why would I be able to say that? But it's just, I don't know. I think he needs to just mature a little, just become more mature. And you know what? That's probably easier said than done. Like, to mature and like I'm not being sarcastic or anything. Like, I'm just straight up saying, like, when you're in the NFL at a young age and you're a starting quarterback, like, there's probably a ton of distractions, right? But it's just you gotta, I guess, focus on the football and just mature and realize, what's important. So yeah, we'll see what happens with him. I think another team will give him a chance though. Somewhere down the road, I think.
Yeah, somewhere down the road.
I don't know if it's necessarily this year. Maybe he's someone who goes to the
XFL.
I don't know.
I find it so hilarious. Remember when Jets fans were thanking Giants fans for passing on Darnold because we took Saquon, and the very next year, Washington fans were talking Giants fans for passing on Haskins, and look where they both are right now. I find that hilarious.
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't want the Giants to draft Haskins, mostly because I didn't feel like he fit with Pat Shermer's system at the time. Like Pat Shermer, like quarterbacks on the move a lot. Like you're doing play action, rolling out, and Haskins wasn't like great on the run and stuff. Isn't really mobile. I mean, I was like hoping somehow the Giants would be able to draft Kyler Murray, but because that's where the NFL is going. Like you got to have a quarterback that can move.
He wasn't gonna make it to 6 though.
Yeah, no way. I remember, like, I think he took that because I got my hopes up because I think he took a meeting with the Giants. And then after that, he, like, took no more meetings or whatever because I guess, it was pretty obvious.
It was a done deal that he was going to Arizona.
Yeah. Stefan says, Lauren, do you think Ben Roethlisberger has another year in him, especially now that they're going to have a new offensive head coach, a new O-line, and running back? I don't know. I honestly feel like no. But what I feel like the Steelers might do is draft a quarterback to sit behind Roethlisberger this year. That's what I feel like might happen. But he did not look good towards the end of the season.
Agreed. Like you basically said. I mean, I said it earlier. I think he should retire this season. The Steelers should be in the market for a starting quarterback, whether it's through free agency. Who I want them to get actually is Jameis Winston. I think Jameis would be a nice matchup with the Steelers, but they should be in the market for a new quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah, Jameis. I could see them drafting Kyle Trask possibly. I know we were talking about Kyle Trask before. Valerie says we need a running back and an offensive lineman. Yeah. What happened with the Steelers' run game this year? I feel like it kind of just like
no. It has a lot to do with the offensive line. Their offensive line this year was subpar, at least for Steelers standards. And James Conner, well, we all know he's not like he's prime Lev Bell or anything. He definitely relies on the offensive line a bit.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell. I forgot. I forgot like for a second that Le'Veon Bell was on the Chiefs. Yeah. Anything else from the chat? We're an hour and 6 minutes here. We'll probably stay on for a few more minutes. So yeah. Who will be the first running back off the board? Who do you think, Hub?
I haven't looked at running backs, so I can't say.
I haven't done it at running backs either, but I think it'd be ETN, right?
Yeah, I legit have a paper. This is not the paper I take my notes on, but just where I jotted down all the players I took a look at so far, and it's like none of them are running backs because I'm like the Giants don't.
Yeah.
Well, you could argue that we could probably take a running back late, but we only got 6 picks, and I don't think we're going to use one. I don't think we're going to use one on a running back. If we had more than 6 picks, maybe, but I think we'll probably sign an undrafted running back, but I don't think we're going to take one.
I think the Giants might draft a quarterback late, in my opinion.
I don't know about that. As you can see, there was no quarterbacks on that list either.
Just because of like Daniel Jones, not to like replace Daniel Jones or anything like that. I'm saying maybe with their last pick, just someone who could back up Daniel Jones.
Then it would be a better idea to sign an undrafted one because that would mess with his head.
Because Kyle Alada, Davis Webb. That didn't really work out. I mean, honestly, though, with Eli, like you don't really need backup. But I'm just saying, Giants backup quarterback for next season. They got to get someone who.
They need to get somebody. Yeah.
Like they need someone who can run.
Well, that depends. Is Jason Garrett going to evolve if he comes back as offensive coordinator? Is he going to evolve his offense? Because it's not like he involved DJ's running ability that much, except for a couple of games.
We can sign Nate to Seinfeld. Yeah, Peterson wanted to see like what he had. Oh, thank you, Peterson. Now the Giants got that little scout in there.
Exactly.
There we go. Yeah, that's what they'll do. But honestly, the Giants could draft 2 wide receivers this year. Like I wouldn't even care. Like draft 2 wide. Well, I wouldn't be mad. Happens in free agency, but
yeah, it depends what we do in free agency. Like if we sign one and then we draft one, I'm like, all right, that's good. If we sign one and then we draft 2, I'm like, all right, that's good. Like it really all depends on free agency, which hasn't happened yet. I'm actually working on my very first mock draft already, and it's labeled the way too early mock draft because, like we said, it's just way too early to do a mock draft. But yeah. I've been struggling. I'm like, I'm struggling between 2 wide receivers and 2 offensive linemen at the end of the draft. I'm like, I could see it going either way. I could see them at the end of the draft going offensive line depth and then taking a second wide receiver at the end of the draft as well. Like it's going to be either or for me.
Yeah, I've been honestly, this week actually, I was like, oh, I should like start like going over film and stuff and like for the draft and like looking at prospects and actually like go take my deep dive now, just stop looking at mock drafts and actually, watch film for myself. But then I was like, just wait until the playoffs are over. Like, just like chill. Just like wait till the playoffs are over.
That's not a bad idea.
And then I was, I wanted to, but I've just been like kind of busy, and I'm just like, you know what, just like one step at a time. I'm like, must look at everything right now. Like I need all the info. Like,
for me, since I'm like just a Giants focused one, like it makes sense for you to look at it after playoffs because you do like general NFL a lot. For Giants focus, I've been getting a lot of requests from my community, whether it's in the comments or it's like through Instagram DMs. So I'm like, all right, I'll make one, but I'm letting you guys know it's the way too early edition. It's like still. There's legitimately no way to tell where these players are going right now. It's January. Like,
yeah, I mean, except for one.
Yeah, except for like the
Number
first 10. Yeah, definitely number 1, and then
number
like the 9
one,
after that.
We're gonna get that one right. I'm pretty confident in you have that.
Like,
that be right.
I mean, I'll pat myself on the back a little bit. I've been pretty great with mocks. Like in the past, like I mocked both Matt Peart and Andrew Thomas to us. I said we would draft Benjamin Victor. We didn't draft Benjamin Victor, but we ended up signing him as an undrafted free agent. Like I've done pretty well, so I'll give myself a pat on the back there. But
why you need to subscribe to Hub.
Thank you.
His mock drafts have been spot on, and his playoff picks were pretty spot on, except for one game. So
except for one game, but this one I won't say that for this one because once again it's like the earliest one I've ever done. Because now I'm like it's the first time I'm doing a mock where I'm over 1,000 subs. Yeah, and they're just all requesting it.
Yeah, no, I definitely like I've seen because I know I follow a lot of Giants people, obviously, but yeah, everyone's like deep in their draft stuff, and I'm like, wait, I'm behind. Like, I like casually look at mock drafts just for fun. Like that's like one of my. If I'm like bored, I'll just like go look at a bunch of mock drafts, and I like draft season. I do. It's fun.
You know who else I said we should have taken last year?
Who?
Jeremy Chin, safety. He's now with the Panthers.
Oh my god, yeah, he's having such a great season.
He was a sleeper pick last year. I said if the Giants could get this man in like the 4th or 5th round, it would be amazing.
Where did he end up going? 3rd?
I think he went 3rd, right? I think he went around 3rd or 4th. Now I'm not like angry that we didn't because we got Xavier McKinney, same position, and he looks good in the limited time that he had. But I'm like, yo, if we could have gotten like a wide receiver in the 2nd and Jeremy Chin in like the 3rd or 4th, that would have been amazing. But that's not the way it worked out.
Yeah, I feel like my best mock draft pick that's similar to that is Darius Leonard's draft. I had the Giants picking him in the 3rd round.
And he went in the 2nd, right?
Yeah, he went early. When he went, I was like, oh. But he's someone I remember like watching him and being like, why is this guy like? Why are they projecting him like 3rd to 4th round? Like, what is this?
When I made my mock with Jeremy Chin, he was being projected like 6th. I was like, what? This guy's being projected 6th round? That's crazy.
Mock draft where I was like, am I dumb? Or like,
yeah.
Am I dumb? Or like, I was like, I don't see any flaws with Darius Leonard. Like, what? Like, why are people like not like wanting to draft him? But yeah, the Giants maybe should have drafted him 2nd round that year. Sideline to sideline, like he can really do it all. But yeah, I guess. Do you want to like hop off now? Is that?
I mean,
a good stream. Anyone?
It's been a pretty good stream. I got no problem with it.
Any final words? Anyone?
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you all for tuning in, man. Shout out to Lauren for having me on again. I'm pretty sure we're gonna do this next Friday as well for the conference
championship. Let's just like a streak of like throughout the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, it was like 2 more weeks because we're gonna be off the week after next. Oh, Hildy Russ said his best mock was Dak.
That's a good
sleeper.
one. That's like
a real sleeper.
That's a top one.
Because he still went 4th in the 4th round. But yeah, shout out to everybody here. You guys have been a great crowd. Thank you for having me, and thank you to Lauren.
All right, guys. Yeah.
Oh wait, real quick plug. If anybody's a Giants fan, my Allen Robinson video was out today. Go check it out.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Make sure you go subscribe to Hub. Even if you're just like an NFL fan, like I feel like your videos, even though they're kind of like Giants geared, like you talking about Allen Robinson, like anyone who's a team who needs like a wide receiver, I feel like could find.
And last week I did Curtis Samuel.
So go subscribe to Hub, even if you're not a Giants fan. It's just that good content. So first link in the description, and I think I'm going to be doing another pregame live stream tomorrow, an hour before the game starts, and Sunday. I think I'm going to do that again. For like a half hour, pretty quick. I mean, it's only 2 games, so
make sure you tune in for that.
Make sure you tune in to everything, guys. And Hub's live stream during both night games.
It's gonna be. Hopefully it's gonna be fun because it's always terrible when you do a night game and it's like a boring night game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because also not even gonna lie, like these recent night games, I've been like a little tired. Like it's
Yeah.
been long days. You know, 3
Yeah,
games.
like I just streamed Monday. I streamed the college football national championship. It wasn't a boring game, but it was super long. I was like
Well, okay,
by the end of it.
it was a little bit boring towards like the second half and stuff. I'm not even gonna lie, I was just so tired. I think I was just like I've been really tired. Haven't been sleeping much, but TMI on live stream. But but I was watching that game and I knew I wanted to record a reaction after, and I was just so tired. I was like,
Literally, as that stream ended,
grind through this.
right after that stream ended, that was like a 4-hour stream, Lauren. I just went to bed. I was like, yep, that's it. I turned on my computer, everything, just went to bed.
Literally, like, I don't know, sometimes, like, I mean, it's early tonight. It's 9:49. Like, sometimes these streams go till 12 or whatever. But, oh, thank you guys. Everyone's saying great job.
Thank you.
But, like, usually, like, these streams, like, go to, like, 12 or sometimes, whatever. Some people's streams go to 12. Not really mine. But, and I'll be tired. Like, I'll be tired, but I'll be, like, wired because, like, we're doing a live stream. I'm not on the live stream, like, hey, guys. But after the national championship game, I recorded that video, took a shower, bed. Like, I was
beat, man.
I was so thirsty for water. See, this is how we take that context. I was so thirsty. Okay. I needed water so bad, but I was almost just too lazy. I was like, I'm like, can't even move to go downstairs. So yeah, I don't know. You saying that, Hub, that you were tired too makes me feel good because I was like,
that was a 4-hour. That was legitimately a 4-hour game,
and it was right after the 6-game weekend.
Yeah,
it was like I'm not even kidding. This is
came off of two straight days of me doing like 2 night games. Both of them were like 3.5 hours, and then Monday was a 4-hour night game. It was crazy.
Honestly, on Tuesday, just subscribe to the Hub, said Harrison.
Thank you.
Honestly, on Tuesday, I was like, I just need like a little just a little break from football. I never say that, but I was just like, I just need to like relax. Like I've barely slept. I just need to like no videos today. I just needed a little sleep so I can get ready for this weekend. Because I feel like when I'm tired, also I'm not actually actively watching the game. Like, when you watch a game, like it's not just about like, oh, he threw the ball here. I mean, that's what all 22 is for too, to see what's going on. But like on the full field, but like when I watch a game, I'm trying to actually like analyze what's going on, see if there was a read this guy could have made here, whatever. But like honestly, Monday night, like I was watching my video, I was like, oh, I wasn't happy with my video Monday night. I thought it was too short. Now I'm just like ranting about my own video and criticizing myself on my own live stream. But that's why sleep is good. So you can actively watch the game and make better videos. Sleep is good, everyone. It's very important for your health.
Get your 8 hours.
Literally.
But yeah, we're going to be out now.
Yeah. We're going to stop talking about my sleep schedule. All right, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. End broadcast.